Hi, my name is DeObia Oparei, and welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
DeObia Oparei, welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show. How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. It's good to be here.
It's really exciting. So normally I'd go through people's lives chronologically, but I have to speak about this huge show that you're in at the moment, Loki on Disney Plus. Everyone's loving it. Can you tell me, first of all, how did you first hear about the role? You, of course, play Boastful Loki.
Yes, I played Boastful Loki. I didn't know it was Boastful Loki when I first got the material for the audition. I was in London and it came to me, and I think the character description was completely something else. So I knew it was a Marvel project, but I didn't know what it was, and I didn't really know what the character was. And so I just had fun with it. I had fun with the audition, and you know, as actors, you do these things, let them go. And I didn't find out until I got to Atlanta and I got into the fitting. Yeah. And in the fitting, I found out the character name, and I was like, "Oh wow, I'm a version of Tom Hiddleston. That's great."
So, did they give you any kind of backstory to the character, or what your Nexus event might have been, or anything like that?
Yeah. Then once that happened, then of course research kicked in, and Kate was great, giving us a whole bunch of research material, as was Tom. And then, of course, you know, I kind of dived in and found out as much as I could, asked questions, which was amazing. And, you know, I'd seen most of the movies, but then I watched them again, and that was really great.
Yeah, I imagine at this point, if anyone hasn't seen any of the Marvel movies, there's quite a lot to catch up on now.
Yes, so true. Absolutely.
I feel sorry for someone coming into it fresh in 20 years' time when they're going to have like 1,000 TV shows.
But I think that'll be good. You know, it's like going on the internet, you know, at midnight, and then you end up at 4 a.m. going down a rabbit hole, you know, Googling this and that. And there's just so many great stories.
So when did you actually film the show, and how long did it take to film? Was it like a one-day thing, multiple days a week, or?
I think it had all changed in terms of because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I think now we're required to get to the location, and then once you get there, you're quarantined in the hotel for like a week. And then I think everything's kind of being prolonged now. So what possibly would have been possibly a 3-week or 3.5-week shoot can turn into a month and a half or longer. So I think it was probably drawn out more so because of COVID, but that was quite great. I'd never been to Atlanta before. I loved it. Never been to Georgia. And you know, it's pretty cool working for Marvel. So I wasn't complaining, but I think it was like 6 weeks or something. And it was great because it was really cold in London. So
even in summertime, it's pretty cold.
Yeah, what is it with our British winter? Come on, what summer? We're so British. Look, we're complaining about the weather.
To be fair, except for 2 days a year when I really wish my house had air conditioning and it's like 1 billion degrees.
Wow.
I know. So you first appeared in that iconic end scene of episode 4 with Kid Loki and Classic Loki, and then of course in episode 5 as well. Now you filmed it quite a while ago. How difficult was it going that entire length of time, not being able to discuss it at all? And then what was the reaction like when you could finally tell everyone the show you're in?
You know, I have a practice that when I do something, I let it go. So, and I've been very lucky to be very busy anyway. So it's usually on to the next project. I mean, it was such good fun filming it. And then I went back to London, and I think I went straight onto The Grey Man afterwards. And things were percolating as well. So my mind's off and onto the next show or the next thing to do. So the reaction to episode 4 was absolutely, I was amazed. I mean, and I think Tom had said to me when we was on set, you wait, you wait till this comes out. You're gonna, and I just heard it and didn't really think of it. And then when it did happen, and the reaction was huge, and my social media blew up, and the messages I've been receiving, and the edits and the fan artwork. Amazing. And it did kind of remind me of Game of Thrones, which was very similar. But I think because in Game of Thrones, I came in season 4 or 5. So, I mean, I guess the guys who've been in from season 1 would have got that. But coming in for this and then being in the first season and then getting all of that was amazing.
So your character, of course, Boastful Loki, claims to have beaten both Captain America and Iron Man and claimed all 6 Infinity Stones. Do you think there's any truth to what he says and he's just showing off about it, or do you think the entire thing's a fabrication?
I think when you go in to play a role, I mean, I know the name, it's all in the name, but I feel like for me, going in to play a role, I believe it because the character believes it. And even if there is a sense of exaggeration to it, then I think there's something in it that is a truism or a truth. So I mean, I for sure, I'm not disputing Boastful Loki for sure.
Me either, and I'm looking forward to one day seeing that film of everything playing out. And so did they, of course, your character carries around a hammer as well. Another character famous for that is Thor, which lends more credibility to it if it is in fact Thor's hammer from another dimension or multiverse, whatever it is. Did they explain to you where the hammer came from, or that was just your weapon?
Yeah, they did explain stuff. I mean, Tom said some really interesting things, which I can't share about the hammer, which was great for me as a character to hear and stuff. And I kind of felt like, because there's so much speculation about it, I just kind of felt like, you know what, maybe that's territory I shouldn't venture into in interviews. And, I had no idea how intense Boastful Loki carrying this hammer would be and is for the folklore, and Marvel fans. I mean, it's like, wow.
And I think also really impressive was, as boastful as your character was, the Alligator Loki, when he came up against President Loki, just bit his hand off and he was out of action. But he tried to do that to you and it didn't work. Yes. My question to you is this. Obviously, it's a CGI alligator. Did they just throw a cushion at you? What was that? What were you wrestling?
No, I was wrestling the alligator.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. No, I had to make it work. Yeah, no, it wasn't that easy.
Makes sense.
Obviously, it wasn't a gator from Florida.
Now, of course, you betrayed Kid Loki to become king, then President Loki betrayed you, which led to a massive fight. How much fun was that to do?
Such good fun. I mean, it was such good fun. I love to fight in movies. I love to fight. And the sequence and the stunt team in Atlanta are incredible. And so, yeah, I just found that sequence really exciting. And I also feel like, for me, like fight scenes, you can really tell a great story using it's physical storytelling. And so I fighting is something that I just love.
And so you had some amazing scenes with Tom Hiddleston and Richard E. Grant. What were they like to work with? Really
great. Tom is so generous as an actor, as a person. He really opened the door to that world. Obviously, it was my first time in the MCU, and he was just so inviting and made it very clear that even though he played this character for a decade, he was really excited about my interpretation, what I was going to bring to it. He was really excited about what Richard and what Jack was going to bring to it. So that kicked it off really great. And then he was really good in feeding me, and I'm sure the other actors, just great information about the journey that he'd been on, playing this amazing character, as well as anecdotes, giving us, story stuff. And it was really great to hear his journey, his metamorphosis through the character. And so because of that spirit that he showed, it kind of set the tone So I certainly felt really comfortable. And also I'd worked with Kate before, so that was great. But I felt very comfortable to show up and to offer ideas, and to it was a really great atmosphere. It was yeah, special.
And I was really excited to see you've got your own hashtag on Twitter, you've got your own poster. Apparently there's a Funko Pop in the works as well.
That was that. And I really feel, I mean, that was just so amazing to get an emoji and then the poster. And, Marvel have been great, and as Disney Plus, and also felt the fans really embraced Boastful Loki, embraced myself, and so to see kind of incrementally each week, oh yeah, I got a poster this week, and yeah, I got an emoji. That was a really good feeling. I really feel that we live in times now where people, they can check you out on social media, they can find out who you are, and they can see your work, and they put two and two together. This is what I felt, and felt, oh, this is a special moment, and I really have felt embraced by the MCU and by the fans.
That's amazing. And so episode 6, the season finale, has just aired on Disney Plus. Have you had a chance to watch it yet? And if so, what did you think?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I was just so, and I'm going to for sure. I know it was amazing, but I can't wait to watch it.
Now, season 2 has excitedly been confirmed. If they invite you back, would you love to come back to the MCU to do more?
Oh, yeah, of course I would. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what's going on, what's happening, and in a sense, kind of, I think as an actor, you just learn to kind of let go. I had a great time in this season, and it's an amazing show. And of course, if that happened, I would jump at the chance.
Rumour has it there's some deleted scenes that didn't make it, some of which were filmed. Apparently there's a scene where several surviving Lokis after the fight go to tackle the smoke monster Alligator, and that obviously isn't in the show. Did you film anything that didn't make the cut?
I think, I'd heard about a few things. I think often making stuff, certainly I've experienced, I remember doing a movie a few years ago, and I remember, we shot it out in a place called Curacao, this amazing island in the Caribbean, and I'd never been to. I think it's like just off the coast of Florida or Miami or something, and had 2 months there shooting this movie that I thought I was good in. And I remember getting a call at the premiere, like I think the 2 days before the premiere, that I was on my way to, oh, by the way, I'm really sorry, but we've had to cut all your scenes. Right. So yeah, and I remember that. And I also remember I did another movie called Moulin Rouge, and a similar thing happened there. So much of what I'd done was cut. So I kind of, when I finish a project, I practice letting go because it's out of my hands. And I know that things do get cut, time constraints and storytelling and all those things. Sure. So I kind of just hope for the best.
The great thing is too that a lot of the time they've started releasing deleted scenes, and directors will go back decades later and do director's cut and ultimate editions of things.
True. Yeah, true. Yeah, and that's what's really good, because you can go, yeah, see, the Friends. I wasn't it a lot more.
The first 3 phases of Marvel, Big Bad was Thanos, and now they're shaping up to be Kang the Conqueror for phase 4 and beyond. Who would win in a fight, Kang the Conqueror or Boastful Loki?
Oh, Boastful Loki. Come on. Come on.
Easily, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Not about easily, but I mean, a really good fight is a challenging fight, but I give a good fight.
This isn't the first time you've played a Loki. You also played Loki Hayes in Santa Clarita Diet.
I did.
You did?
I loved it. Yeah, that was with Drew Barrymore, Tim Oliphant. Yeah, that was really good fun. Yeah, I loved it, and I had to learn how to play guitar saying, because my character goes, Loki Hayes goes from thug to musician, and I think I had to learn all that like in 3 weeks. And that, but it was I love playing Loki Hayes. Yeah, I wanted more of him.
Oh yeah, so you could almost have your own Loki verse with just your characters.
Right.
I would most definitely watch that too. Yeah, I'm going to petition for that.
Well, suddenly getting cast as Loki twice. I mean, that's
right. Are you able to keep any props or costumes or souvenirs from Loki or any of your other productions?
Oh, for my other productions, I often beg the wardrobe people or the costume designer for clothes. So sometimes I get a little knick-knack, you know, or I get those boots or whatever. But I haven't really, I didn't get anything from this. I mean, I asked for things. Things are so, you know, I know I was promised all this stuff when I did Dumbo. You're going to get this and we'll get you this and we're going to ship this to you. And he didn't ship it to me. So, and often I understand, but often now I think things are documented, unfortunately. They're kind of warehoused and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, but some of my costumes, yeah, I'd love to have kept.
You've been in so many amazing productions, big budget productions too, your first of which was Alien 3 in 1992. But my question to you is this: as an actor starting out, have you got any advice for anyone just getting into movies, and how do you get noticed to even get that first opportunity?
Do you know, it's changed so much now, and I love it. I think it's changed for the better. I think it's democratized the process so much more. So in many ways, you know, the landscape has changed, the map has changed. Some people decry it. I love it. I love it. I love that you can be a tween in your bedroom and you go online and I don't know, you're a gamer or something and you've got acting aspirations and you build up, you amass 5-10 million views and then suddenly boom, Nickelodeon comes calling and you get your first show. I love that. I think it's great and I have no thinking. I think what for me, I guess, grounded is and was grounded for me is that I spent over 10 years in theatre. And it was kind of old school where it was called rep. And there were repertory companies all kind of in the provinces outside of London. Leicestershire, Leicester, Birmingham, and also with the Royal Shakespeare Company. And so you were doing one play in the day, you were rehearsing, you were performing at night, and then doing another play and then rehearsing 2 plays in the day. And then you'd have 3 plays going in a cycle. And so I was doing that for years. And then sometimes, even with the Royal Shakespeare Company, sometimes you were going to the venue and then you were striking the set, which is called taking it down yourself, putting it in the van, driving to the next venue. And I did that for years. And so in so many ways, that grounding in the work, I think has done me well because I feel it gives you stamina and it gives you longevity and it enables you to work your craft in so many different environments, especially I think on a stage where even though stage acting and screen acting is completely 2 different things, there is something nice about learning how to work learning how to work it so that you can project to the back of a 2,000-seater and yet still kind of not be big or over the top, if you know what I mean. So in that sense, I think a really strong grounding and also getting a grounding in the so-called classics is always great. Having an idea of, you know, for me, I think it's always felt great to know who, for me, the great playwrights are, and know the playwrights that I love, and I think it all holds you in good stead when you're coming to movie scripts and you're coming to do screen work. At the same time, I think it's great, like I said before, that the kid in the bedroom getting all those views and then suddenly, boom, you know, you have an acting career. I know people say, yeah, but that doesn't last or whatever. I just kind of feel like, because I didn't go to drama school, I didn't go the traditional route. So when I look at other people who are mavericks, and you know, they're getting it by their YouTube or by their Instagram page or whatever, I just think go for it. You know, it's a different world and things change. The world is ever changing. And I feel the means of production, of making your own stuff, are now so much more in our hands than they were before. And I love that too. So it's a different landscape. And I just think, go for it. You know, you just don't know which way, how you're going to get seen. I heard somebody put up a billboard, and I think in Atlanta, and Tyler Perry saw it and hired the actress. So, you know, it's like, don't let anyone tell you. No, just go for it.
That's very good advice. Now, you know the metaphor caught between a rock and a hard place? You were once caught between the rock and a scary monkey in Doom.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true. It was great working with Dwayne. I loved it. I think we all thought it was going to do so much better than it did. Yeah. But the experience of working with Dwayne, it's and Carl. I think I'd worked with Carl Urban before.
Well, you were in Dredd, so.
Yes, that's right. I was. See, I forget these things. I forget. Yeah, but I was.
Can you tell me, was it a real monkey? Was there a monkey running at you?
You know what? I felt it was. I can't remember. I know Dwayne, I think, was taking the piss out of me because I was genuinely scared. Oh. Like I was really scared.
That's outrageous. So you were, as you mentioned earlier, you starred as Le Chocolat in Moulin Rouge, which was such a high energy, kinetic production, it seemed. What was it like being on set for that film?
It was so good. I mean, I loved it. I never really felt that. I think because I was around so many, I think I played Le Chocolat, who was a real life character. And I think I was around, you know, these amazing Australian dancers. And I danced at that time too, but I think I was acting more. But I always felt nervous as a dancer because I wasn't trained. And so, you know, you'd go into these rehearsals and these dancers were just spectacular. And so I always felt nervous and scared. But in a way, that vulnerability was perfect for Le Chocolat, because I can kind of see it in the movie. And I think, oh, that works really well, that I was hesitant and nervous and not sure of myself. But I did, obviously, I wanted to be in it more, but a lot of stuff was cut. But I loved it. Loved working with Baz. I was always amazed at Ewan McGregor's voice. I always felt, I mean, just hearing it when you're standing next to him was just, wow, he could sing. And it was a really good company. And shooting in Sydney, and it ended up getting extended. It was such good fun.
I love that the film's had new life breathed into it recently. There's a stage show, which I really want to see.
Oh, that's right. There is. Yeah. Which I haven't seen. I've heard that's in New York, right? Isn't it in New York?
I looked online and apparently there might be a London production as well.
Wow. The gift that keeps on giving. Wow. Right? It's a great story, you know. It's such a good story. Certainly shooting it was always, you know, the numbers and his ingenuity about the music and the way the music came into it. There was something really magical about it. You know, and there was something for me, I think, really magical about that time. I had been asked to perform at Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. And amazing. I remember I was so nervous as one of the lead performers at a certain time. And Ewan was so sweet. From what I remember, he came. I think he dressed up in leather and he came to support me. And it was huge. Mardi Gras was huge out there. And I was just like, it was a magical time. It was a magical time.
Well, that's great. And then, so you went on to star in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides with Johnny Depp, and there's action sequences and all that good stuff. How much choreography goes into a fight scene?
Pirates of the Caribbean, I think, was like Game of Thrones. Just so, you know, these stunt coordinators, stunt choreographers are just incredible. You know, something that I've worked with and so intricate, and it just always reminded me of my dance background. But no, really intricate, really brilliant. You know, you kind of go into those, you're going to go into those situations and you kind of have to surrender and then just kind of, I think sometimes when you get choreography, it can be daunting, especially if you haven't come from like a dance or a physical or a martial arts background. It's really like, how am I going to do this? Or I felt the same with Game of Thrones when I got that huge sword. I was like, how am I going to move with that? Come on. And I did another movie called Thunderbirds, and I remember the fights on that. And I remember this, I forgot his name, and I wish I could remember his name, but I remember him saying to me, and I've never forgot this. It's amazing when someone says, I do, you never forget it. And it was a fight sequence, and I didn't know how to do it. And then I think at the end of the fight, you know, I had to I had to pick up this actor and run off. Like, it was so intricate. And I remember going, I can't. And then I remember saying, argue for your limitations and then they're yours. And I never forget that line. I was like, what did you say? And I really think that line, and it's amazing how people can give you a gift that lasts you a lifetime. And that line has always stayed with me whenever I get into situations that I feel like, oh, I can't. I just hear his voice, argue for your limitations and then they're yours. Oh, I don't know why I shared that, but it was just one of those amazing moments.
You mentioned already you starred in Game of Thrones. You were in season 5 and some of season 6 as well, Areo Hotah. Now, you won the location lottery, I think. Out of all the locations, you're absolutely in the best.
I won the location lottery of my life. Yeah.
Your character was unnecessarily stabbed in the back, which I was very cross about. But so can you tell me your best or worst death scene that you've been involved in?
And no, I'm like, I went up, because I'm also in Wrath of Man, Guy Ritchie's movie. And I was like, I said, Guy, please, I don't want to die. Can I stay alive? I mean, everyone probably gets killed in that, besides Jason Statham. So I don't want to die, you know, because I'm in movies and I get killed and I'm tired of it. But my great death scene. I think my best death scene, to be honest, has been on stage. I think because I love death scenes. I'm dramatic, you know. I'm supposed to say I love Al Pacino and that, but you know, I love those kind of 40s diva actresses like Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, darling. And so I, you know, like, and I think I did a play called Troilus and Cressida, the National Shakespeare play. And I played a guy called Hector, and I had to die on stage there. And I milk it when I die and I've got lines. I milk it. I probably overact.
It's a lot of fun, and I guess on stage you get to do it slightly differently every night as well. Kind of play around with that performance. On
stage, yeah, I think it's electric. I mean, it's electric in front of the camera in a different way. But I like the electricity of that audience actor relationship where you just feel, you can feel what they're feeling. You can feel, you know, how there's a communication that's nonverbal, and that is very addictive. And as I do, like, you know, the kind of communication that you kind of have with the camera, and but you know, I'm still learning. I mean, I know I've done a few screen projects, but I feel like, especially with screen projects, I'm still learning about. You know, every movie it's like a lesson. I just finished doing The Grey Man with the Russo brothers, and it was just amazing, just working with them and seeing just their mastery at storytelling, visual storytelling. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm a student, just soaking it all up. And I remember Ryan Gosling just saying to me that one of his first projects was with Denzel Washington. And he was just telling me how he just watched Denzel and just soaked up. He said one day Denzel was doing a speech and he had his fist in front of his hand. And he said, when you just looked at it, just this there on set, it looked really weird. But then suddenly when he looked at it on screen, it made the speech seem ominous, and he's just suddenly realized that this guy's got amazing screencraft, and I live for that. I live for. That's why I love this business. I love what I do. You know, it's the craft of it. You're constantly learning, constantly soaking in new things, and it's pretty amazing.
I think that's what makes a great actor as well. You know, some people just go on set, do their lines, and then, you know, read a magazine or something. But other people are, you know, picking the brains of everyone around them, because there's always, you can learn something from everyone.
You got to be careful there, because some of those people who just going on set, doing their lines and going back with, they're quite brilliant. Like I remember once And shout out to Wumi, she's amazing. And I remember when she auditioned, she was auditioning for something, and she was in LA, I was in LA, so she auditioned for it in my kitchen. And I remember she came into my kitchen, and when I'm auditioning for stuff, I get all over it. And I remember she came into my kitchen, and because that's where I was shooting my audition tape, and she did this audition, just one take, and it was just like, and we finished it, and I went, do you want to look at it back? And she went, no, that's fine. And it was so good. Do you want to do the take? And I think sometimes you get those actors who, you know, it just comes out. It just comes out, and boom, it's like, and I never forget that. I was like, wow, so relaxed, but the actual, you know, the work, it was just full of tension and excitement. And so I think it's one of those businesses where there's no rhyme, there's no reason. Like, you know, you almost can't bottle it in the way. If you kind of catch it, then consider yourself lucky, or I don't know. I mean, it sounds like I'm saying you can't train for it. And of course I think you can train for it, but it's amazing when you see those people and it just oozes out. You know.
Yeah, it really is magical. And so you starred in the sequel to Independence Day, Resurgence. Your character had killed a lot of aliens, and for everyone that he killed, he had a tattoo on his arm. Now we see this in one scene, and there's a close-up, and there's like a billion lines on your arm. Did they draw that on you for the entire film, or was it just for that one scene?
Yeah, they did. They drew that on me, and I think it stayed for the shoot. And I remember going to a bar. We shot it in New Mexico at Albuquerque. And I remember going to a bar because I kept it on. I loved it. It looked so good, you know. And I remember, because, you know, there are certain people who like bad boys. You know, they love that kind of. And I remember getting chatted up by this girl. And it was all because of these tats. You know, so she went, so how long was you inside for? And, you know, I have a British accent. And so I was in the States, and for some reason I just thought, you know what, I'm tired, I can't explain, I'm shooting, so I just became, oh yeah, long time. I became Tyrone, yeah, long time. And so I just ended up playing this character, Tyrone, in my real life, in this bar, and she was chatting me up, you know, what were you inside for? You don't want to know. You know, it's just, and I had to keep this up for like an hour, and then I was like, how the fuck do I get out of this? So yeah, it looked real. It looked real.
So Independence Day 2 sounded like a really intensive shoot, because you weren't only filming that sci-fi spectacular, you were also rehearsing for Death of a Salesman with Jeff Goldblum.
That's so true. Yeah, Jeff would bring in Arthur Miller, and he would give us the roles. And we would sit there, we would sit in our chairs, and that was, I'd never seen that before. And it was a really good bonding thing. I think it was a really good way to bond everyone. And we would read Death of a Salesman. And yeah, I mean, he's a character, and really just one of those people, like Tom, really great to have on set, that, you know, creates this really equilibrium of equanimity with everyone. He remembers everyone's names, like crew and stuff. That was fun. That was, you know, that was great fun.
Now, you also starred in, you've been in so many amazing productions. You also starred in the live-action reimagining of Disney's Dumbo, playing Rongo the Strong Man. Now, Danny DeVito had you doing a lot of jobs there. You weren't just the strong man. Were you paid well for that? Was he looking after you in that circus? Because it seemed like you were doing several people's jobs.
We ain't gonna talk about the pay.
Were you just paid peanuts like Dumbo was?
Yeah. But I had fun with it. I mean, if we talk about money,
no, only in the film. I don't mean in real life.
Oh, in the film?
Yeah.
No. It's being paid peanuts. I mean, Danny DeVito was giving me nothing. But no, that was a real. Working with Tim Burton was real fun, and Danny DeVito. Yeah, I mean, it was just amazing how suddenly Rongo ended up having to do all these kind of wear all these hats. Yeah, I think I enjoyed that movie. I think I did.
I think so. I've had jobs like that where you're hired for one role, but then they're like, oh, this person's left, can you fill in for that for a few weeks? And you end up doing that. And I noticed it. I recognized that in the film.
Yes. Also, you're related to Rongo. Yeah. I think what I loved was the circus. Like, in a sense, being an actor is like joining the circus. And there's that, and you know, those circus performers were real. Like, they were real circus performers from all over Europe and the world. And that was just fantastic. Yeah, that was the really exciting thing, was like working with, you know, real sword swallowers. And in a way because I had done some time, you know, I lived for a while in Sydney, where I kind of went off the grid and wanted to experience what it was like kind of being. So I was a street performer. I became this street performer in Australia, and I worked with a group of performers called the Modern Primitives. And one of the guys was a fakir, which he was a sword swallower. You know, he was I think it's called a fakir, yeah, swallow swords and fire. And hi, Jeff, if he's watching, amazing guy. And I remember it reminded me of that world. And I used to play a character called the Witch Doctor. And so half my face would be painted. And I would, during festivals, dance through the streets, almost naked, just with tails on, a big kind of leopard skin codpiece, dancing as this witch doctor. And I did that for like a year, 2 years. And it was great, because I wanted to get out the confines. I remember just, you know, I spent a couple of years at the Royal Shakespeare Company and doing theatre and doing TV, and I just felt, what's it like just being a street performer? What's it like? And I kind of got a taste of that, and doing Dumbo reminded me of that world entirely. So some of those performers, I mean, they live a hand-to-mouth existence, that can be tough, but they go for it. Like they're like hardcore. And they, you know, and they keep up their skills. They're doing workshops. You know, that money isn't just going for rent or whatever. It's going for workshops to keep up their skills. And, you know, and I really do respect that world, you know, especially, you know, those contortionists. I remember doing Moulin Rouge. The contortionist on that was incredible. Like, that arm was going there, that leg was up there. I mean, you just see these amazing performers that likely will never be famous, but are amazing.
Yeah, to me, it's honestly magical, and they have like these incredible abilities that I would never have if I had a billion lifetimes, you know. And I just love that about them.
But we've all got something.
It's true.
We've all got something.
Mine is talking about stuff I've watched with the people that made it, mostly.
I love that. That's something.
There's something, right? Made something.
And you do it with charisma.
Speaking of, you mentioned you're in Australia, you set up a theatre company, you wrote a play with the best name I've ever heard of.
Oh, so yeah. So in Australia, I had a theatre company. We were a drag queen theatre company.
Yeah.
Called the Soul Bitch. I mean, I had a few companies, but that was one called the Soul Bitches. And hi, Matthew. Hi, Darren. And you know, we Matthew was a dancer at the Australian Ballet, and he introduced me to drag. And I couldn't, like, seriously, my life changed when I tried on my first wig. And I was like, oh my God, just the transformational aspect of it, and the kind of maskedness of it. It just brought out this whole, and I remember thinking, I just want to explore this. And that's what led on to this kind of going off grid and going, there's a whole world here that I don't know, because I've been this kind of, I felt like a square actor. I went to this world, so I became a drag queen. Years that I spent kind of off grid kind of made me, now they've become, now what was off mainstream, you know, and which is great to see. But we had a theatre company, and we did a couple of shows loved, and then I came back to London, and I wrote a play called Crazy Black Motherfucking Self, which was about my experiences. And that was on the Royal Court Theatre in London, yeah.
That's fantastic.
I've been around.
You have indeed. And have you considered writing any more plays?
Yes. I'm kicking myself up the butt to get a consistent writing schedule. On my defense, you know, I haven't stopped working as an actor, which has been great. And but for sure, I want to write something else.
You've recently starred in Guy Ritchie's Wrath of Man, which is out in the UK on the 23rd of July. For anyone that hasn't heard about it, can you give us a brief overview of what the film's about?
Oh my God. Oh gosh. He's talking about like a year ago. A guy who's been betrayed and loses his son and goes out to get revenge. And I am part of a heist, a team of ex-Marines, ex-military, and we're out to steal all this money. It's an incredible action film. Guy's an amazing director. That was a great project and a revelation for me, because I'd seen Guy's movies before, but didn't really understand. I could tell he was good, but he's really good. Like his the way he works on set, it's very theatrical. You get the script and you're not going to come in and do that script. Like you think you are, and then you go, no, we're not doing that. And he writes it as you go, and you kind of go, oh wow. And it's very magical. And he's writing it as we go and as we're moving. And then he says to the writer, okay, can you go and put that down or get it together? And then he comes back 5 minutes later and you shoot it. And I loved it. I just loved it. And I just think it's his genius. And obviously he has it all in his mind and he's architecting it as we go. But it ain't going to be what you get. It ain't going to be on that script. And that's what I love. So every day was this absolute surprise. And it was one of my favorite shoots.
I love that. And I guess in many ways, some days shooting would have been a surprise to him.
Yeah, I think he knows what he wants, but then he sees the story with the actual people on set, in the scene. And so it's so organic. And I think that's what comes across when you look at the movie. It's just so alive, you know?
Yeah, it must spark so many ideas just when you're seeing the characters bring your words to life as well. And it's like, oh, maybe we could get them to do that or try it a different way. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Yes, I think you'll enjoy it.
I think I will. And so now you've just wrapped production on the Russo brothers' The Grey Man, which I believe is a Netflix movie. Incredible cast. Can you tell us anything about the character you play and what kind of stuff we can expect?
I know I can't talk about the character because I don't think I'm allowed to. But it was, I wrapped on it. It was great fun. I mean, I'd never worked with Ryan Gosling before. That was a revelation. He's really good. But no, I loved it. Do I sound a bit bland?
You know, we're going to have a lot to talk about next time you come on my show, and you can reveal more about it, right?
I can.
Exactly.
Yes.
You starred in so many other amazing films and TV shows we haven't even touched upon, stuff like Dredd, Jumanji, The Next Level, Your Highness, Death Race 2. Have you got any other favourites or best experiences you've had with filming?
I think there have been amazing locations that I've shot at, and I loved shooting Thunderbirds. I think we were in the Seychelles. That was amazing. And the hotel that we stayed at were like, we all had our individual huts. And they were right on the beach, like literally on the beach. That was amazing. And I think my best experience is yet to come, to be honest with you. I think that, you know, I feel that I'm growing as an actor with each screen project. I think that there's a freedom that I found as a stage actor that has yet to come to fruition on screen, but I sense that is, you know, arriving. And there's a comfort now. There's more of a comfort with the camera, more of a comfort to articulating character and the things that I want to kind of say through the work that I do. That I know I found as an actor on stage, and I think I'm finding now as an actor on film, because it's a whole different ball game. And I think that there's a confidence in me, a new confidence in me that I haven't had before. I know I've said it before, and I feel like I'm saying it all the time. I'm out now. I'm an out actor. My identity as queer and gender fluidly self-expressed, and so I feel that is something that has restored a huge amount of authenticity to my presence And I seek that now in my work, just quite naturally. And so I didn't know that there was a door that had been closed and now it's open. I get, oh my God, this is a whole new world. And so that, just as an artist, is incredibly exciting. Like, it's exciting on the inside because there's a kind of fearlessness of where once I was like, oh my God, no, I can't reveal this because most of my roles are, yo, motherfucker. Sorry, can I swear? Yeah, most of my roles were, you know, hyper masculine and you know, as I love playing them. So I thought, oh my God, you better not be yourself. You better not kind of, you know, wear that cute kind of headdress. You better not wear that skirt or whatever. But now I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'm doing me, boo. If you don't think I've got the craft to play anything, which I have the celluloid receipts for, that's your problem. But I feel that as queer artists, what we often have to do is shapeshift to the detriment of ourselves. And even though my job is to be a shapeshifter as an actor and creator, in my life, I want to be able to shapeshift into the spaces that I want. You know, I want to be able to kind of do me. And so I know a lot of, not a lot, I have a few colleagues who in the business who do very well, who would never be out, you know. And I felt like it was enough. I felt like I've given enough, you know, of that. And I need to kind of show the world who DeObia is.
And it feels like the biggest weight is being lifted when you can just tell people who you've always been. Yes.
And also, you know, the very real question for me was, you know, about negotiating my authenticity for either cachet, you know, in terms of work and career, or money. And I just felt like I'm not going to get to the end of my life and go, oh yeah, you know, you kept that secret and look at all the movies you got and look at, like, you know, like when I suddenly got that on a really deep level, I think it changed everything for me, because I suddenly realized this is so much more important. My interaction with you, and here I am. And actually it allows me to shapeshift better into different roles, because I'm not hiding this one.
Yeah, you're not limiting yourself in any way.
Yeah, and my heterosexual, you know, colleagues can show up being who they are. You know, like, so why can't I? Like, you know, this great actress can show up in a suit on the red carpet. So why can't I show up in a dress? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, why can't I show up the way I want to show up? And so that was very important for me. That's very important for me, you know. And I've always been a rebel in the sense of my life has never been, I didn't go to drama school. I'm a school dropout. There was a time in my life when I was fostered, you know. There was a time in my life when I was in a children's home, you know. So I don't have that conventional route. I didn't go to university. And so here I am, you know. And so I feel that by not being that truth, then, you know, what am I doing, you know?
You came out last year. Have you got any advice for anyone that feels like they can't yet, or they're not necessarily ready to? What would you say to them?
You know, if that person's not ready to, I wholeheartedly respect them. Because I really feel like it's a delicate thing that life brings you to, or your own consciousness needs to unfold. No, it's no one else's job to either out you or to coax you or to tell you what to do. My advice would be to be gentle on yourself, and I feel like our culture gaslights us, whether it gaslights us as people of color, whether it gaslights us as women, as trans, as non-binary, as gender fluid. We get gaslit that, oh, why are you making a big deal of it, and blah, 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 and as if that lived-in experience doesn't experience what it is to be in a culture that erases you or invisibilizes you or diminishes you. So that's real. That road is real. And so that's why it's important, I think, for people to be gentle on themselves. to really go easy with themselves. Because I think when I started to be gentle with myself, that's what enabled me to. And, you know, and there are still fears. You know, I went out for dinner the other day. I went out for lunch with my publicist, meet my publicist, and I've got this beautiful, cute silver dress that I love. And I wore it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in the middle of LA. What if that producer's there? What if that, they're not going to hire me, and I'm auditioning for this and I'm not going to get that? And all these fears went through my mind. And I just had to be gentle with myself and say, what would you rather? That you showed up in jeans and t-shirt that you didn't particularly want to wear that day? Like, and what are you afraid of? And when I start being gentle, I kind of, you know, understand that there's nothing better than showing up in your truth. Like, seriously, there is nothing better. It's like a drug. You suddenly just, especially if you've been an identity that you felt you've had to hide, there is suddenly nothing better in showing up in your truth. And, you know, my friends say you're glowing, and I feel like I get it because I'm being my truth. And it's like, you don't need to go to the gym for it. You know, you don't need to do a course. You don't need therapy for it. When you connect to that truth, as I feel like I have in myself, you feel unstoppable. You just feel, well, this feels good. And you know what? Your truth, my truth, liberates them. Liberates them, because none of us are really normal, you know, quote unquote, in that sense, what normality is supposed to be. I think that by being your truth, by being my truth, we liberate. And that's not the reason why you or I are in our truths. I didn't choose it as an esoteric reason to help everyone else. But by liberating myself, in a sense, I get this sense that I liberate those people around me. And I work with a trans man, and he has, I think working with him has been very liberating for me, because he showed me that there was another level of the closet that I needed to come out of. And that was where I was when I went off grid as an artist. When I went off grid as an artist, I went, oh shit, well, I can do what I want. So, you know, I started wearing miniskirts and expressing myself in the way that I wanted to express myself, because I was off grid and I didn't have to worry about trying to get hired in a mainstream project. It wasn't until I thought, no, I want to get back into movies now, I want to get back into TV, that I started suiting and booting up. But why should my artistry require a corporate image? Why should I corporatize my self-expression just to get hired? When self-expression is by its nature, you know, amorphous, and it's there's no boundaries. There's no boundaries. So why do I want to put that on myself? And I love it.
I can see it radiating from you, and it makes the world a better place.
I think so. Well, it makes me a better place, and I think, don't they say, you start with you. You want to change the world, start with the person in the mirror.
You've played lots of iconic characters already in your career. Is there one that you would love to return to if you could pick any character for a spin-off or their own movie?
I want to bring something to the screen. I mean, I shouldn't say it because someone's probably going to beat me to it, but it's a great Shakespeare character, and it's one of the kings that I want to make a king queen, and I just think it would be amazing. So there's I have that dream. I have that dream. I just think it would be incredible. It's an amazing Shakespeare play, one of his greatest, and not that I want to set it like Pose, but I think it would be an amazing in the ballroom setting, in the gay ballroom setting, and so there's that dream.
Well, I'm going to go start queuing up outside the movie theatre straight after this, just in case you make it. It sounds spectacular. Now, of course, you've got a couple of movies that we've mentioned that haven't come out yet, but are you working on anything else? Have you got anything else scheduled for the rest of the year and beyond that you can perhaps tell us about?
Yes, I have a couple of things, but I'm maybe suspicious. Is it suspicious? Superstitious.
Yes.
Well, I think I'm suspicious too. But I have a couple of things that are really exciting. but I will release them on my social media. I always wait for the contract. I'm never one of those actors who kind of speaks before. I kind of wait to get the contract, sign it, boom, I'm going to release it. But yeah, I'm going to, for sure, going to make an announcement on my social media.
Very exciting. I'm the exact same way. When sometimes I'll book a really exciting guest such as yourself onto my show. I don't want to tell anybody until I filmed it, I've edited it, it's about to go online, you know?
Yes, exactly. Is it because we're British? I wonder if it's because we're British.
Could be. Everybody's just sitting on loads of amazing projects they're working on, and nobody's told anyone anything. It's why everyone's quiet when they're in a lift. We're all just sat there not talking about the projects we're working on.
True. It's so true. It's such a British thing, isn't it? Whereas in America, they encourage you, come on, you know, talk yourself up. But in the UK, we're kind of encouraged to kind of be tight-lipped.
Can you tell me a fun fact about you, something we may not know, a hobby, a party trick, something like that?
Fun fact about me. I used to be a really good, I mean, I probably have a string. I used to be a really, really good African dancer. And I was that good. Cirque du Soleil scouted me in Sydney and asked me to join them. And this was back in the day. And I said no. They asked me to come to Vegas and try out with them and blah, blah, blah. And I remember saying no. Yeah. I turned down Cirque du Soleil.
That's very impressive, though.
Yeah. Because I was kind of known in Sydney at the time. I used to be an African dancer. I was in an African dance troupe. We performed all over town. And I remember a couple of Cirque du Soleil people coming up and going, you know, we'd love to have you out in Vegas. We think you'd be great. And I kind of knew in my mind that I was always going to end up in film. So I kind of went, no. But I just kind of felt like I liked being free and dancing. But to get an offer from Cirque du Soleil, I mean, come on. It's amazing.
My final question, have you got any messages for people watching the Sarah O'Connell Show and your fans around the world?
Thank you so much for embracing my work. I hear you, I see you, and it's so great to be here and to receive messages from you that are embracing of me having come out of the closet, me being who I am in the world, and then you look at my body of work and feel a pride in that. That gives me pride and makes me feel, yeah, this journey is worth it.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute delight speaking to you today and celebrating all the amazing stuff you've worked on.
Fantastic speaking to you.
And thank you to everybody watching at home. Be sure to share, subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up and leave lots of lovely comments. I'll see you all again soon for another episode of the Sarah O'Connell Show. Bye.
Bye.